Hey everyone, it is ZLR here. Today we're going to be doing my week 4 recap of the UFL season. And I know a few you people want me to add more pictures and stuff during my vids. So here's a look at all the scores from this week, which is right here for you guys. And pretty good week. I can say that the Showboats are the only winless team now after my team, the Brahmas, finally got their first win. And it would be against a undefeated team just like how they did it last year. So let's just get right into this. And for the first game, we had the Memphis Showboats go up against the Michigan Panthers, with the Panthers win that one 27-9. We had EJ Perry complete 8 passes out of 16 attempts, 74 yards, and a interception. Troy Williams had 4 completions at 8 attempts for 13 yards. EJ Perry had 9 attempts at rushing for 30 yards. Deneric Prince had 7 attempts at rushing for 24 yards. Jacob Kibodi had 7 attempts at rushing for 10 yards. Troy Williams had 1 attempt at rushing for 4 yards. And Elijah Stove had 1 attempt at rushing for 2 yards. If I forgot about this, Deneric Prince had a touchdown as well. Then we had, for the receivers, Kawami Lassiter with 3 catches, 33 yards. Jonathan Adams had 2 catches, 21 yards. Chris Pierce Jr. had 2 catches for 20 yards. Isaiah Henney had 1 catch for 5 yards. Jacob Kibodi had 3 catches for 4 yards. And D. Anderson had 1 catch for 1 yard. And for the Panthers side of things, we had Bryce Perkins complete 15 passes out of 22 attempts for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nate McCrary had 11 rushing attempts for 60 yards and a touchdown. Toa Taua had 10 attempts at rushing for 53 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Perkins had 7 attempts at rushing for 45 yards. And Jaden Sheridan had 5 attempts at rushing for 11 yards. Then we had Jalen Moore with 3 catches, 39 yards, and a touchdown. Seosi Mariner with 1 catch, 38 yards. Jalen Weidermeyer, that's a long name, for 3 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Cole Hikutini with 2 catches, 34 yards. Malik Turner had 3 catches, but 34 yards. Jaden Sheridan had 2 catches for 13 yards. Nate McCrary had 1 catch for 5 yards. Then we had the Arlington Renegades go up against the St. Louis Battlehawks. The Renegades win this one 30-15. We had Max Duggan complete 8 passes out of 17 attempts, 78 yards, and 2 interceptions. Manny Wilkins had 2 attempts at passing, didn't get any completed. Jacob Sailors had 20 attempts at rushing, 61 yards. Max Duggan had 10 attempts at rushing, 42 yards. Blake Jackson had 1 attempt at rushing for 18 yards. Gary Jennings Jr. had 1 attempt at rushing for 4 yards. Jarvian Howard had 4 attempts at rushing for 1 yard. And Manny Wilkins had 1 attempt at rushing, -4 yards. Then we had Frank Darby, 2 receptions, 26 yards. Denzel Mims, 1 reception, 17 yards. Jacob Sailors, 1 reception, 16 yards. J- Jacor Pearson, 1 reception, 10 yards. Gary Jennings Jr., 1 reception, 4 yards, as well as Jake Sutherland. And Jarvian Howard had 1 reception for 1 yard. For the Renegade side of things, we had Luis Perez, 17 completions out of 25 attempts, 149 yards, a touchdown, and a interception. Holton Ahlers had 1 attempt at passing, didn't get anything from it. Day Hunter with 8 attempts at rushing for 25 yards and a touchdown. Javonta Payton, 1 attempt at rushing for 24 yards. Luis Perez, 1 attempt at rushing for 8 yards. Kalen Ballage with 9 attempts at rushing for 8 yards. Devion Smith with 2 attempts at rushing for 7 yards. And Seth Green with 1 attempt at rushing for 1 yard. Sal Cannella, 3 receptions, 35 yards. Seth Green, 1 reception, 24 yards. Tyler Vaughns, 3 receptions, 22 yards, as well as Kalen Ballage. Day Hunter, 2 receptions, 17 yards. Isaiah Winstead, 2 receptions, 14 yards. Deontay Burnett, 1 reception, 9 yards. Luwan Winningham with 1 reception, 4 yards. And Javonta Payton with 1 reception for 2 yards and a touchdown. Then we had the Birmingham Stallions and the Houston Roughnecks going at it with the Birmingham Stallions actually winning in a pretty close game, 23-16. We had Matt Corral complete 14 passes out of 25 attempts, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a interception. Case Cookus had 1 completion out of 2 attempts for 36 yards. Matt Corral also had 10 completions, 10 attempts at rushing for 52 yards. CJ Marable had 11 attempts at rushing for 47 yards. Larry Roundtree III had 7 attempts at rushing for 28 yards. And Case Cookus had 1 attempt at rushing, -1 yard. For the receivers, we had Dion Kane with 3 receptions, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Nice on the 69 yards. Davian Davis had 2 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Camp had 2 receptions, 47 yards. Jordan Thomas had 2 receptions, 23 yards. Jace Sternberger had 1 reception, 15 yards. Marcus Baugh had 1 reception, 8 yards. Larry Roundtree had 2 receptions, 4 yards. CJ Marable had 2 receptions for 3 yards. And for the Houston Roughnecks side, we had Jalen McClendon with 22 completions out of 31 attempts, 236 yards, and a interception. Nolan Henderson had 3 completions out of 4 attempts for 35 yards. Jalen McClendon had 5 attempts at rushing, 17 yards, and a touchdown. Zaquandre White had 11 attempts at rushing, 16 yards, and a touchdown. Lorenzo Lingard had 3 attempts at rushing for 14 yards. Lawrence Keys III had 2 attempts at rushing for 11 yards. And Nolan Henderson had 1 attempt at rushing for 6 yards. Justin Hall had 6 receptions, 58 yards. TJ Vasher had 1 reception for 46 yards. Kiki Chisholm had 4 receptions for 35 yards. Marcus Sims had 1 reception, 29 yards. Zaquandre White had 3 receptions, 26 yards. Lawrence Keys had 3 receptions, 21 yards, as well as Lorenzo Lingard. Jorquavius Spivey had 2 receptions, 19 yards. And Josh Peterson had 2 receptions, 16 yards. And finally, we had the San Antonio Brahmas going up against the DC Defenders, where the San Antonio Brahmas won 24-18, getting their first win of the season, and up against a team that was unbeaten up until this point. We had Kellen Mond complete 14 passes out of 20 attempts, 121 yards, and a touchdown. We had Anthony McFarland 14 attempts at uh 14 attempts at rushing for 55 yards. Joshua Corbin with 11 attempts at rushing for 24 yards. Aiden Robbins with 4 attempts at rushing, 13 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Kellen Mond with 3 attempts at rushing for 6 yards. We had Jacob Harris with 3 receptions, 35 yards. Greg Ward with 3 receptions, 20 yards, and a touchdown. John Tree Kirkland with 2 receptions, 18 yards. Anthony McFarland, 3 receptions, 14 yards. Joshua Corbin with 1 reception, 13 yards, as well as Marquez Stevenson and Steven Stillanos, 1 reception, 8 yards. For the defenders side of things, Jordan Teamu with 19 completions out of 31 attempts, 300 yards, and a touchdown. We had him also complete a touchdown while running for 74 yards off of 10 attempts. Abram Smith had 13 attempts at rushing for 39 yards. Deion Jackson had 5 attempts at rushing for 5 yards. And Jaden Mickens had 1 attempt at rushing for -2 yards. Braylon Sanders had 3 receptions, 87 yards. Chris Rowland had 7 receptions, 62 yards. Cornell Powell had 3 receptions for 52 yards. Briley Moore McKinney had 1 reception, 39 yards, and a touchdown. Javon Antonio had 1 reception, 25 yards. Jaden Mickens had 2 receptions, 21 yards. And Abram Smith had 2 receptions for 14 yards. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and the next one will be halfway through the regular season of the UFL season when I do my week 5 predictions. So I hope you guys are here for that one. But I do hope you guys like, subscribe, comment, do really whatever you want to do. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one. See you around.